Hey everybody, it's Dr. J here. I wanted to make a really fast video covering some very basic things that I think will help a lot of people. One of the biggest problems I see with people that come to me for help is that there's not a good connection between what their goals are and what they're doing. So that could mean, how they're eating, could also have to do with how they're exercising. So I made a little chart here. I'm not an artist, so forgive me. But I made a little graph that may be helpful to some people in terms of aligning their actions with their goals. So what I have here is down here on the x-axis I have caloric intake. Down here is very low calorie. Over here is high calories. But you'll note over here with low calories it also says excessive cardio or running. So people can undereat or have very low calories either through diet or from doing so much exercise that they're burning the calories that they're eating and they ultimately still have a low caloric intake. Then here on the y-axis I have resistance training or weightlifting. And then I have some little bodies here and I wanted to talk about these. And I guess the best place to start would be over here with our overweight little stick figure or round figure. Because that's the biggest problem that we have, and usually that's the people that I see and that I'm helping are the people that are overweight and want to lose weight. What they usually end up doing is they end up dieting, low calorie, and sometimes they'll go to the gym, of course. A lot of times the big mistake when they go to the gym is they'll spend time doing cardio instead of doing any resistance training, even though they want a body like this. Their goal is to get rid of the belly and get a more athletic physique. Yet, if you notice on this graph, what they end up doing is eating less calories, doing a bunch of cardio, possibly resistance training, maybe not, maybe, but ultimately a lot of times their calories are so low that the resistance training becomes useless. So what ends up happening is they start with a high fat percentage, they lose weight, usually losing some fat and some muscle. They get smaller, but their fat percentage stays high. And if they were to continue that out, lots of them quit, but if they were to continue that out, they'll continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and ultimately can end up like this, which is, I got here, skinny fat. So even though they've shrunk, they still got this little belly here, and usually very low musculature. You'll see a lot of men, older men, that have no shoulders, and they got this pot belly right here. So they still have a relatively high body fat percentage, but they're not obese, okay? So that's kind of what happens if that's what you deliver. If you deliver low calories, no fuel, plus you're doing a lot of cardiovascular exercise, burning more fuel, you are not going to build muscle and you are not going to end up here. Okay, so let's see what else could happen. What about the overweight person who says, well, I'm going to start going to the gym and working out, lifting weights, but I'm not going to pay attention to my diet. So what ends up happening for them is they build muscle because they've got the fuel and they're doing the action to build muscle, but they're not losing their waistline and reshaping their body. They're just getting bigger. Sometimes the term bulky. So I hear women that tell me they don't want to do resistance training because they don't want to get bulky. Usually that's what's happening is they're not paying attention to their nutrition. They're lifting weights, adding more muscle to the fat they already have, and they get bigger. Of course they don't want to do that. So that's a calorie thing. It's not a weightlifting thing. Then you can see up here, and I get some hard gainers too. Those are the people that have trouble gaining weight. And believe it or not, I have hard gainers. In fact, I posted a picture recently of a gentleman who came to me who was very low weight, very skinny, but he wanted abs. He didn't have any abs because he didn't have any muscle. He was running on the treadmill in order to get his abs. Would never work. So, what this individual needs to do is to start doing resistance training, but also they want to head over here. They got to take in more calories. Now, someone who wants to head over here and take in more calories, it's not that they can't do cardiovascular exercise. However, they have to be careful because the whole point to getting over here is to raise their calories. So if they're running on the treadmill all the time, they need to make sure they're eating enough to compensate for that so that they have a caloric surplus and so that they can build. Okay? So hopefully this will help individuals. What I do with people that I help, so that I don't have to be guessing around with this, is I measure their metabolism, measure their RMR, I know exactly what their caloric intake is, so I can take them somewhere on this graph that they need to go based on what they tell me their goals are. Everybody doesn't have access to that. If you don't, you need to still think about this, and when you're thinking about it, be monitoring your progress. Monitoring your progress, not with a scale, because notice here, I didn't say anything about weight. It's all about the physique and the body fat percentage. So you need to be monitoring your progress with photographs so you can see what's happening to your body. Are you just shrinking but staying fat? Are you getting lean and losing, body fat that you can see in photographs and going towards your goal? Are you getting skinny and that's not where you want to go? And align your activities accordingly, okay? So hopefully this is helpful for a lot of you. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm talking about, and give me a subscription. And any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks, bye.